Welcome to another episode of AT 2022 Through Hike with Honeymoon Hikers. Today we're going to talk about trail lingo, because in 2010 when we hiked the trail, we were totally lost for about 2 weeks. It was foreign language to us, so we wanted to just help out the new guys that are going to be out on the trail what some of this stuff stands for. A quick fact before we start, I wanted to touch on about the AT. The state that has the most miles is Virginia, 555 roughly, and the one with the lowest, Virginia name in it, West Virginia, with 4 miles. So that's just a fun fact. And thank everybody for the prayers from my shoulder. It's healing good. We're 8 weeks out from getting on the trail and starting our through hike. So thank you all. Now we're going to get into some of these trail lingo words so you'll know what they're talking about when you get out there and won't be lost like we were. First one is nobo. They'll say nobo, which is short for northbound hiker. Sobo, southbound hiker. Someone that says they're flip-flopping, that's somebody that might, just for example, start at Harper's Ferry, hike to Katahdin, and then get a ride back down to Harper's Ferry and hike back to Springer. So they're hiking 2 different directions. By the time they're finished, that's a flip-flop. Yo-yo, that's somebody that's crazy and does 2 through hikes in 1 year. In 2019 we were going to do that, but after about 5 days said no, I'm not hiking 4,300 miles. So we just did one. A lasher, excuse the second word, but it stands for long ass section hiker. A section hiker is somebody that section hikes the entire trail. We met a lady coming into Damascus in 12 as we were leaving Damascus, and she'd been on it for 25 years. And when she got in Damascus, she had finished her through hike, so it's amazing. If you hear somebody say a 0 day, of course that means they did no miles that day. Narrow means they probably hiked less than 5 miles, and usually a narrow day is right before town. You'll stay 5 miles outside of town, hike in the next morning, so you have the whole day to get everything done that a hiker needs to get done. And then you go into blazes. You got, of course, the famous one, the white blaze. You follow that all the way to Katahdin. Blue blaze. That's when you see a blaze on a tree, blue blaze, it's going to lead to a shelter, water source, or it's going to be a safe route where a trail's going over exposed ridgeline. If there's lightning or whatever, there's a blue blaze to keep you from going over that. Pink blaze, that's when a male hiker's chasing a female hiker up the trail. Yellow blaze is somebody that hikes the trail, but they cheat and they hitchhike when they get to blacktop. Yellow, you know, the yellow going down the middle. They'll hitchhike around a certain section and hop back on and keep going. Brown blaze, and that's somebody that you want to stay away from probably because they're sick and they're just hiking from privy to privy or cat hole to cat hole. Aqua blazing, that's usually done when you get up to Waynesboro. You'll get in a canoe, kayak, whatever, and you'll float all the way up to Harper's Ferry, just about. I think it's like 50, 60 miles of floating. We've never done that, but deli blazing, that's when a hiker is hiking from deli to deli, pizza place to pizza place, or a food stand. And usually you'll start hearing that term when you get in New Jersey and New York, because it's easy to do, it's common. Slack pack, of course everybody probably knows what that is. That's where you hike that day and try to get as many miles as you can with a day pack instead of your full pack. And most of that happens at hostels where you can stay 2 nights and they'll slack pack you for a fee. Switchbacks, of course, takes out the just straight up and down, and it helps with erosion because where it's going zigzagging all the way up the mountain instead of straight up, because straight up, all the hikers on it, you're going to tear up the soil, and the switchbacks are so helpful. And there's a lot more on them from 2010 to now. They've really done good on the trail. Hike your own hike, of course, means do it for you. Don't change your hike for nobody else. Just, you can ask questions, absorb all the information, but do what's comfortable to you. Hike your own hike. Hiker at midnight, 8 o'clock, you'll hear that. Camel up, of course, that means you get to an area where you know there's no water. Drink all you can at the water source, fill up your bottles, and that way you've cameled up, got a bunch of water to get you to the next water source, which might be 30 miles away or something. A cairn, of course, you're going to see that in New Hampshire and Maine. That's to mark the trail above tree line. You'll see rock stacks. So that's what that's for. Work for stay, you can do that at the hostel some, but for us, work for stay means the White Mountains in the huts. You can work for stay there and do odd jobs for like 30 minutes, and you get to stay in the hut for free, where it costs $120 if not. And the word that goes with that is crew, and that is actually the crew that you want to be very nice to. They're the ones that work in these hut systems. They're the ones that will let you work for stay, and they usually keep 3 to 5 hikers to do that each day. So hiker perfume, of course, is bug spray. Hiker porn is pictures of food. Logbook, You're going to find that in every single shelter. The person that takes care of these shelters leaves a notebook in there, and that's basically trail communication, like the Pony Express on the AT. You'll write something for somebody that's behind you, or you'll see that they left you a message, and you'll know how far away they are and all that. So that's very handy. PUDs, of course, has pointless ups and downs, and you'll see that on the whole AT till you get to New Hampshire, Maine, because you'll go up, no view, go down the other side, go up the next mountain, no view. So yeah, trailmance, of course, is romance that happens on the trail, and we see it every year. Some have gotten off the trail and gotten married after they finish, and of course some, once they get to Katahdin, just go their separate ways. Trail angel, of course, that's someone that helps the hikers just out of kindness. Trail magic, when hikers are surprised by acts of kindness. So trail angel and trail magic are used a lot on the trail, and trail magic has gotten very popular. The more people hike the trail, the more they want to get out there and do trail magic for the other hikers. Virginia blues, of course, dealt with what I mentioned at the beginning. 555 miles in Virginia, it feels like you're never getting out. You start getting the blues. But I tell you, once you get out of Virginia, the next 2 states fly by. So one day you're out of 2 more states, you knock them off. And of course, yogiing is the act of asking for stuff without asking for stuff. And then a widowmaker is a dangerous thing. You want to check on your surroundings when you put a tent up, hammock or whatever. We've known people that have been killed in their tents because a tree limb tree has fallen on them. So check your surroundings when you put a tent or hammock up and make sure all the trees are safe, especially if there's a lot of wind that night. That's the one fear we have, is a tree falling on our tent while we're in it. Never see it coming. And then I want to talk about real quick trail names. We see a lot of people asking questions: should I get one before I get out there? Should I get one on trail or whatever? I would say if you got something special that's happened in your life, like a friend of ours retired from the YMCA, he went as wise guy. Maybe your dad was a retired military, you want to honor him with your trail name, or something people have called you throughout your life, like my nickname's Rat, he was Rat Man. So you got a special meaning, yeah, go ahead and give yourself a trail name before you get out there. A lot of people think it's cool to earn one when you get out there, and usually when you earn one, they're not going to give it to you because you've done something great. It's because you've done something stupid, like Dirt Stew, because he spilled his stew in the ground, he still ate it. So do a crazy thing and you got a trail name. But yeah, we highly recommend them though, because it is cool to, we have met people on trail we're friends with, we don't even know their name, but we know their trail name, and that's what we go by today. And then when we get done and we hear that we call them by a trail name all the way to Katahdin, then we find out their real name, we look at them and the wife say that's not their name, and we still call them by their trail name for now on. And what's funny about that, you can be in a grocery store with a hiker when you go home, and you'll be hollering at each other by trail names, and people will hear you, and they're probably looking at you crazy and thinking your mom and dad was probably high when they named you, because they probably think that's your real name, and that's pretty funny sometimes. So yeah, we highly recommend getting a trail name, because it's very easy to remember the person. You meet somebody, I guarantee you meet somebody in Georgia, and you two have trail names. You stand on Mount Washington or something, see them again, I guarantee you remember each other's trail name. But if you're like me, if somebody tells me their name the next day, I can't remember it. So yeah, trail names are fun, and we recommend getting one. Earn one or give yourself one before you get out there. So thank you for joining us again. We love y'all. We're praying for everybody's safe hike, and thank you for your prayers. And hopefully Tuesday we'll have a video on about scary things that have happened to us in our 4 through hikes. So thank you all, and God bless.